r/petty revenge. Story 1. They kept spamming my email, so I joined their chat. This happened approximately 10 years ago. I have a very common name in Spanish. My email is my first dot last at Gmail. I have had this email for so long, I cannot remember. I'm not sure why, but it seems a lot of people do not understand how email works, so I end up receiving their bank statements, bills, and so on. Always from different people. Their middle names are always different. Anyway, I started receiving meeting notes from this random company, spreadsheets, presentations, and so on. I kindly replied to them explaining that they have the wrong email. No one ever listened. One day, I get added to a group chat, which is a discontinued Google product, so I joined the chat. I see they start talking about some customer and start asking questions. I start offering my opinion, open parentheses, I just make it up as I go, close parentheses. Some of my responses are starting to make no sense. Then I just go full-on bananas and start telling them they are all idiots for not checking their emails before sending invites. Laugh out loud. The meeting went silent. I was kicked out of the chat room a second later. I continued to cause some drama by editing the titles of their documents. 2. You should seriously double-check who you are sharing documents with. I had such a good laugh. They were not very tech-savvy, as I had access to the files for a while and went back to see them change the titles back. After 2 weeks, I got bored and just removed the documents from my drive. Never had an email from them again. Curiously, this situation has happened more than once with different entities. Laugh out loud. TLDR, someone at a company started sharing documents with me because they could not be bothered to check the emails. I ended up joining a group chat and chaos ensued. Story 2. Yell at me in front of customers, lose your job. This was about 28 years ago. At age 16, I had my first job at Circuit City. Around the holidays, the prices for items would change, and it was someone's assigned job to go around and place the new price tags. One day, I was helping a couple who were confused about a tag on a brand new speaker. Now, I do not remember exactly how it went, but it was something like the tag read $1.99 and was supposed to be $199. Thinking back, if this were me, I would have bought all of them and called it a day, laugh out loud. But they were not a scummy couple and wanted to know what the actual price was. It was ringing in at $1.99. So I went and got the manager. Alongside the couple in the aisle, we all looked at the tags, and he started screaming at me, "Are you stupid?" and had his pointy finger in my face while yelling. The couple left the store without purchasing anything, and my day went on being scolded by him. Even though it was not my fault that it was mislabeled, he made me feel like it was. I should have noticed it and must be so dumb. I took the abuse because I feared being fired from my first job and right before Christmas. My next shift was a few days later, and I was immediately called into his office. I was having a panic attack. Here we go, I'm getting fired, I thought. Well, it turns out that the couple was so disgusted by his behavior that they called the company and complained. I sat in his office with a manager from another location while he apologized to me and then left. I later found out he lost his job. Petty revenge was from the couple's complaint about him, but I appreciated it nonetheless. Story 3. A person keeps using my email address. Like other recent posters, my email address is also continuously used by another person. I get all sorts of serious correspondence all the time in response to this one person in another country who insists on using my email address because he shared my same first and last name. He keeps setting up utility, etc. accounts using my email, and I just use forget password to access and close them. I got his address and posted a bunch of hard copy erroneous correspondence asking him to stop, but it continued. Lately, he booked a train ride and hotel nights to the large capital city of his country. I reluctantly emailed back the hotel, canceling the incorrect booking in my name. After a few days, he emailed me direct using a friend's email account to berate me, costing him £300 hotel cancellation charge. After I foolishly replied saying sorry as I did not intend costing him money, he sent a nasty reply saying he hoped I had learned my lesson. I ignore him after that. There were 2 more incorrect emails after that. Deliberate revenge, I am guessing, but the flood of incorrect emails seems to have stopped since. Story 4. I did not seek this revenge, you asked for it. So like the title says, I only gave him what he asked for. And it was definitely petty. So I was married to a very manly man for 17 years. I ended up doing all the admin tasks and mental load tasks. He had a money-earning job, and I did everything else, even scheduled this man's dental appointments and bought his parents' birthday cards. At first, it was fine, but eventually not so much, and he refused to change, so things came to a head and ended. I am sure after I left, he was unpleasantly surprised to discover how much work his assistant did. Anyway, it has been 5 years, we have our own lives, and I do not think about him much, and we certainly do not talk. But one day, I started getting calls from him. He explains to me that he never removed me from his home and auto insurance and says they will not remove you unless you call. He is upset and keeps calling me and saying I have to do this right away and being very rude. It has been 5 years, and now it is an emergency. Okay, he ends up calling me every day for a week and saying I have created a problem for him. I called the company, and the woman on the phone says no, we totally would have removed you. He never asked. I can see there is no record of him calling ever. Oh, really? She then says, moving him from married to a single man, this is going to raise his rate considerably. Is he sure this is important to him? I laughed. Oh yes, very important. In fact, I haven't lived there for 5 years, so his current policy should really be backdated. She laughs and says yes, he is now going to get a large bill. Not my problem anymore. Okay, since apparently this matters to people, I am assuming the agent meant for the current contract/policy, which means just this year. I honestly did not ask because I do not really care, and that was not why I called them. And yes, he is under 40, so I think maybe that affects it, but again, I did not ask. I do not spend a lot of brain power on this guy anymore. I do think people are probably right about him having a new girl that was upset. Laugh out loud.